was September, I hesitate to say this, 1966, 56 years ago. We were in the dining room of Cushing, our dormitory, and Marguerite looked at me and said, "Munchkin." I wasn't amused. I really wasn't. So I asked her not to again, and she didn't. And then, not necessarily in retribution, we dubbed her Merce because her last name was Cunningham, and Merce Cunningham was a dancer, and we thought that was it. So that's what we called her throughout our days in school. And I think she liked it less and less as she got older, and you're going to have to forgive me if I refer to her that way, because I can't think of her any other way. We realized from the start that Merce was a being of both spirit and great earthly talent. She read our tarot cards. She challenged our brains with her gift for philosophy, and her eye for color and beauty led to her extraordinary quilting. We all have something of hers. I have about 200 napkins, as well as other things, but I could go for years and never have to use one twice. There's so many touching and hysterical stories over the past 56 years, and I'm not going to even do more than a few. One is when we were, I think it was freshman year, she and Susie lived on a hall in Cushing that was called Two Transverse, and is sort of, as you might imagine, cut across the length of the dorm. And at one point, and Susie thinks it was around the end of exams, somebody put a packing crate outside Marguerite and Susie's door and put a typewriter on top of the packing crate. And that, by the way, in 1966 was a manual typewriter. And as people walked past that room, they typed. They typed stream of consciousness. Sometimes it was a little more pointed, but it was in the 60s, and very often it was, you know, assisted by something. We're not sure who has custody of those, but they were fabulous, and it made their room a real hub, which it was anyway. And then there was the time when she got into real trouble, and it was study week before exams, and this was again in the 60s. We weren't allowed to go anywhere during study week. We couldn't go anywhere. And she went to visit her then boyfriend at Wesleyan. And someone sent an anonymous note to the house dorm president saying, "Let it be known, Marjorie Cunningham spent a few days at Wesleyan." And Merce got into a lot of trouble, and she had to go before the Judiciary Board. And we remember that there were consequences and some sort of punishment. She wasn't expelled, so we all lived to tell the story. But that was pretty much Vassar in the 60s. Then there was a time when she was visiting a friend of ours in a house on Nantucket, and they were having dinner at somebody's house, and these people had a hammock extending down from the rafters in an old barn, which is where they lived. And another friend of ours, Mary Ellen, got in the hammock, and Marguerite swung the hammock and was singing "The City of New Orleans" to her as she swung it. And that is one of Mary Ellen's favorite memories. And then more recently, she visited Mary Ellen in Connecticut when her house was under construction. And her contractor was there, who was a very artsy-fartsy guy, and loved Merce immediately. He thought she was an artist because of her hair. And Merce just ate it up. It was wonderful. So there are the old memories. I have to tell you, I know she's here. And I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And the reason I can be so sure about this is I was clearing out wedding pictures. And out came a picture of Merce holding Galen. Galen, you could not have been more than 18 months, maybe 2 years at the most. And I brought it with me to give to you, but she's playing jokes on us. It disappeared in the car. I have no idea where it is, but there is no such thing as coincidence. And I am absolutely sure that she's here loving us, and we are here loving her.